anniversary celebration of the United States Navy Seabees. This past weekend, it was Saturday, held September 9th at Davisville, North Kingstown. And I personally had the honor of not only being there and witnessing the history and the veterans that all came from New England, all those, the Newport Navy, Northeast Navy Band. There had to be hundreds of people there. It was a beautiful morning, as you can remember, Saturday morning. The air was good. But I wanted to thank Coventry High School's Navy Junior ROTC team for their terrific performance. They did what they call the honor table, not only at the beginning of the ceremony, but at the end of the ceremony. And I can't tell you the number of the people that appreciated watching that and coming up to them afterwards. 4 very dedicated students, 2 being seniors, 1 junior, and 1 female sophomore. And again, I even mentioned that to Mr. Levis this morning, that they did Coventry proud, as well as, of course, the Seabees. We had veterans there from World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam War, and all the Desert Storm wars and the Middle East battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. Seabees are still going. They've been reduced in size, but we had Rear Admiral McClellan was there, and he's representing all the Seabees throughout the nation, and he's from the state of Washington, but is assigned right now to Concord, Massachusetts. So that's basically my president's comments. It was a great ceremony, a great weekend as we hit Patriots Day today. And as far as next, we have on the agenda the approval of the town council minutes from the August 21st meeting in front of us. And I'll accept a motion to, I'll ask for a motion to accept the minutes.
A motion to accept.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, are there any comments or any corrections regarding the minutes? I know they're fairly lengthy and several pages, but if not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. Okay, and next we have council updates. Mr. Lavoisier, why don't I start to my left this time?
There's not much going on other than there was they had a fireworks display on the pond for Labor Day weekend. Indian Trail area. Well, things seem to go very well from my understanding of it. I was unable to attend myself, but I heard everything went well. So other than that, everything seems to be going fine in that district.
Very good. Mrs. Carlson, to my immediate right, District 1.
I would love to be able to say the same, but unfortunately, that's not the case. I have another email, and I know that, you know, there's a lot of emotion involved in District 1 with solar, wind turbines, quality of life, things that are going on. But, and I think it sometimes maybe people get tired of listening because I read a lot of emails, but I think it's important to understand that what goes on in one district really does affect everybody. It's not just one district, we're a town. And I think our job is to represent the taxpayers, and I don't really feel that it's all being done. It's being done enough. So this one I received on, I guess, Monday the 4th. Noise issues in green. It is 2 a.m. We are totally sober, but mentally drained. This is a regular occurrence. We've been up for hours. The wind turbines are so loud during the nighttime hours that we are awakened almost every night for hours at a time. We're at our wits' end. Our windows are closed. There's nowhere to go or hide. The noise is unbearable. The next step is to wear earplugs in our own private house. We are no longer private citizens. That has been stripped from us. No one listens. No one else cares enough to do anything. Mark DePasquale and the Wind Energy Development Company, along with the crooked politicians of Coventry, have stripped our sanity. We have 6 turbines directly behind our house, pointing directly at our house. Town ordinances have been changed to let this happen. They were set for a reason. Like I mentioned, 2 a.m., this is a regular occurrence. We cannot hide. That being said, this happens 24 hours a day, every day. I won't mention who sent this to me, but I think it's important that I've said it before and I'll say it again. If the town of Coventry, the zoning board, permitted these turbines, it's our responsibility to take care of our taxpayers. Because as far as I know right now, not 1 penny is being collected in taxes on those 8 turbines that are not, 2 of them are towns, they're on Pichello's pig farm. But we don't collect a penny. But we have a lot of taxpayers that pay very high taxes, and we're not protecting them. And we need to do that, and I've asked almost every meeting to have somebody step up, and Mr. Manager, I think it's time we need to do that. It's just getting worse. My second point, and I'm saying that because I have to say I was shocked. I got a slew of emails before I left for Canada regarding a Providence Business Journal article, and I got emails during my week last week from the Providence Journal, where the Narragansett Bay Commission and, well, now it's not Wind Energy Development, it's another name, Green Development, apparently have announced that they're going to have a large solar plant, energy plant, as if it's a done deal, and we all know it's not a done deal. So I'm asking, again, Mr. Manager, you know I've sent a letter, and you know I've sent an email to the Projo, I sent you copies. We need the town to say, whoa, hang on, this has not been permitted, and I'd like them to know that these 2 authors and the 2 publications got it wrong. So that's my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Bacon, District 5.
I just want to go and let everyone know that at the next town council meeting, September 25th, if you're interested, we are going to have a sewer project workshop before the town council meeting. Time is being worked out, right, Glenn, on that? So we'll let you know. So if you want to attend, please come before the council meeting. And if you want to submit questions regarding the sewer, send them to you, to Graham Waters?
Yep, you can send them to them.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Just answer your question. We're thinking before the 7 o'clock meeting, which would probably be around 6:30, depending on if we have executive session, could be at 6.
Okay.
And with half an hour allowance, with questions maybe already answered, that'd be good. At least they can be addressed. And then we'll start a regular meeting at 7. That's tentative, but
Yeah.
that's what we're probably thinking of right now.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of emails,
Right.
especially with Coventry Drive, and like I said,
Right.
I will work on those this week and submit those
Okay.
to you. So, and I know a lot of them may be duplicative that
Okay.
Stephanie's received. Thank you.
All righty. Mr. McGee.
Yeah, on that note, I don't believe a half hour is going to be enough for that work session, so if we can I think it's on, I'm just not talking, I'm not talking loud, you know what I mean? Anyway, there's nothing going on in District 3 at this time, but on a note from Ms. Cowell says, I actually received a phone call. As many people that are upset about the wind turbines, I'm sure they have some legitimate complaints. I actually received a phone call from someone in your district wanting information on how to put up a solar farm. They wanted me to send them to the people that are, and I actually directed them to go to West Greenwich and speak to the town manager in West Greenwich because they actually have an existing solar farm. So not everybody doesn't want this stuff in town.
Well, of course not, Carrie. They want the money.
Right.
So, I mean, this is not, I'm not disputing that it's all about the money. This is not about green energy. It is about the money, plain and simple. So, you know, and it's funny because now you don't hear about, oh, this is good for the energy. No, it's good for the pocketbooks.
Okay, District 4 update. I guess just, like all of us have heard some sad news that our infamous Bennies throughout Rhode Island Most likely are going to be all 31 stores, but the one dearest to my heart is right there on Tioga Avenue. It will be closing by the end of December, unless somebody comes in and buys the chain and keeps the businesses going. But I know that for the 38 years that I've lived in Coventry, Oak Haven specifically, I went to Benny's almost weekly, certainly during the Christmas season and the summer season for grass seed, and they've just been fabulous for the state. And it's, I guess it's attributed to those ordering online, not me, but I guess it's those that go through Amazon and everything else. They just cannot compete. So unfortunately, that's the bad news in District 4, and other than that, I don't have any real urgent new news. So thank you, and that's it. Okay, next we have, after council updates, we have a consent agenda, a C item, C1. And I don't know, Mr. Well, Mrs. George, maybe you want to read it to begin with.
Mr. President, the revised agenda has on it the presentation for the paving projects.
The revised agenda. Where is that?
I don't have it.
Where is anything?
It was sent out electronically.
After the agenda went out.
I wouldn't have done it coming to work here, so I didn't have it.
All right. Well, it's okay with me. I don't know if anybody has it.
Do you want to do the consent agenda first and then go back and do the presentation on the...
Yeah, and then I mentioned it. That shouldn't make any time, and I guess we can, yes. We'll just have to go along D, E, F, and G. But why don't we get the consent agenda, discussion and action. If you want to read that, Mrs. George.
Item 1 is an approval for an application by David Procaccini for an outdoor event permit at Nathaniel Green Homestead on October 28th and 29th to 2017.
Okay. Mr. Procaccini, would you like to just make a comment or two regarding the matter? I know that you've had other events there, and they always go very, very smooth. We have I have actually, I think it's the second page of no details regarding the matter outside of it being signed and put to all council people. But as far as the matter itself, I see it's listed as a Civil War encampment. So why don't you just briefly tell us about it?
Excuse me. We anticipate about 40 or 50 Civil War reenactors encamping on the property, intend doing demonstrations in the course of the day, in a small skirmish battle twice a day, firing muskets and cannons for about 20 minutes to a half an hour in the morning, 20 minutes to a half an hour in the afternoon on Saturday and Sunday, as we've done at our past events that were much larger events. This one we anticipate to be a much smaller event. Participation-wise from the reenacting community, we don't know what the visitorship will be. It all depends on the weather and what else is going on. I know the permit application asks what our anticipated attendance is, and with an event like this, it's pretty much impossible to estimate. We could have 100 people show up in the course of a day. We could have 800 people show up over the course of the day, and they come in and out during the day as it goes on. It's not that number there for the entire event. Does anyone have any questions, concerns?
Well, I just had the one. Have you done the Civil War enactment in the past? I mean,
I have, yes.
No, I meant
We have. I think 4 years ago we did one in October.
Okay.
It was a small event again.
Yeah.
Our Revolutionary War event is usually much larger.
Oh, I know that. Yeah. I just was kind of wondering. I know General Green was not around.
No,
So
but his cousin,
Okay.
George Sears Green from Avanag, was the hero of Cope's Hill at Gettysburg.
Okay.
So
That explains it then.
So he was another Rhode
I
Islander.
knew there was an answer.
Well, we
Okay.
feel that it's a home of a major general, so that any military-themed event is possible to do.
Well, thank you. Any questions of the council? Okay. Well then, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good luck to you. All right, Mr. Waters, let's go back to what was posted final night or something.
So, so what was emailed out to the council on the revised agenda was update on the 2017 road projects. We have
Okay.
our public works director and our town engineer here. If you guys would like to come forward. It's Mr. McGee, I just printed out a bunch of those 7-0 copies of what you sent me. Do you want me to pass it out to council? Please. The council will bear with me for just 1 minute, please.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening. Town manager would ask you provide you folks with an update
Right.
on the 2017 asphalt paving. On the road resurfacing project, we have just substantially completed phase 1, which was 13 roads paved at a cost of $459,134, or 53% of the contract. Phase 2 is scheduled to commence this week, week 9/11, and there's 12 roads left to be repaved. And we're on schedule, on budget, to go forward with the road resurfacing. The other project of note is the Honor Road Reconstruction Project. Project started on July 17th with selective demolition, installation of curb and sidewalks from Tyoke Avenue to Johnson Boulevard. Project is 7.2% complete. Project is on schedule for substantial completion by the end of the calendar year. Final course of asphalt, landscaping, and final pavement markings and signage will be complete in the spring of 2018.
Okay. Questions, Mr. McGee? Or?
Yeah, I've got a quick question. I think I spoke to you earlier on it. This company that just did, the last company that we approved the contract, are they doing a good job?
They are.
Because I was a little apprehensive, I thought the job was a little bit big for them, but they're doing well?
Doing well.
Good.
I've got a question. Regarding on a road, now, is there going to be, before final, paving in the spring, will there be a binder coat, which is now going,
That'll be substantially complete. 2 coats of binder will be installed by November, December of this year.
Okay, so that's right, it'll be a
service-
smooth finish,
finish.
but before the end of the year, and then the final will happen.
All the sewer work that has happened, they'll allow it to go through the winter season. Any settling, we'll take care of that before we put the final.
Right,
asphalt.
so even that the binder coat may still,
We can fix it.
settle a little bit, where we can fix that.
Correct.
And then go over it. Okay, great, thanks.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
Me? I just on the road surfacing project,
Yes, ma'am.
have there been inspections by the town engineer?
Yes, he's been on site every day.
Okay, have there been any concerns that you have?
Well, there were some minor issues that the contractor was more than happy to take care of. They were very minor.
And what were those?
Those were driveway interfaces.
Okay, and how about the curbing? That was, because I know throughout the states, there's some curbing that has been damaged.
I
First I heard about it.
Okay,
No one indicated to us any damage.
okay, because it's there.
If you email it to me, we'll look at it.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, not a problem, I can email you photos.
Sure.
On any change orders at all
No.
come in? So,
The only change order was on flaggers, because the police could not provide detail officers because of so much going on, and they went over the budget on flaggers by 9,500, but not under on the police, so it's basically a wash.
so they had to hire a subcontractor for
No,
it?
they won't be able to flag.
Their own people for flagging?
That's a separate line item in the budget.
Okay. Do you have a list of their subcontractors that they used?
Yeah, it was provided to.
Okay, because there were other companies that were out there, that's why I'm asking that, I was wondering. So I can talk to you about that
Sure.
later at another date. And one question that a few people have asked me was the milling that they collect up. Where is the milling going?
Stockpile for us.
Okay.
We've got it down at the landfill, we've got it here. And the last phase is going to be stored at Central Property Park, in an area where we talk to the director there, we're going to isolate that. So we're utilizing it on some of the school projects and town projects.
Okay.
So we also talk about
Okay, and when will the markings and lines be put on any of the roadways? Will that also be in the spring?
No, that's going to happen as soon as they finish this next phase, which will be probably about 2 weeks. We're also starting our pavement marking program within a week and a half. they'll all be incorporating the same thing. They're gonna hire the same companies to do their pavement markings when the town is doing our annual restriping.
Okay, and with Reservoir Road, the condition of that, was that noted in your report, your engineering report? There were a lot of, I guess, I'm not even too sure, just bits of asphalt all over the road, so now it's almost like braille when you ride down Reservoir Road. That was done when they did Butternut.
When they did butternut.
I mean, it's an absolute mess, so I would assume if you were looking at the project, you would have noticed that.
I did, and I mentioned it to the contractor. Unfortunately, by the time we cleaned it, had already been run over a few times, so.
Yeah. And then all the, you know, the side roads and all the scuffing, the tire scuffing, it was pretty significant.
That's nothing you can help. I mean, as those trucks move in the hot heat we had in the United States, you see the oil marks on the street, but that'll all wear off.
Okay. And one other, I actually have two other questions. How were the roads chosen for the road improvement? Because a lot of people have asked, how come my road wasn't chosen? So how does that, do you use a rating system? Do you have a pavement management system that you
I wish
use?
we had a pavement management system. No, we don't have that in place. We basically looked at the roads and looked at the value, what the value of the road was on an internal basis, whether it's a collector road, whether it's a dead end road, what the degradation was, and it's something that we could do with pavement or crack filling. That's why you see a lot of roads we done with crack filling holes, and that these roads were done. Basically, we tried to do as evenly as we could within the districts, but also by the need, how far going the roads were.
Okay, so
So yes, there are a lot of roads that still need to be done, but we can only go so far with the money we have.
okay, yeah, because there were a few roads that were done and people were just questioning why they were done and why others that had significant potholes.
Yeah, you had a few in your district that we actually did crack fill because we knew they were going to be on the list that needed to be done. That's why those weren't crack filled during last year's crack fill. But yeah, it's all about, again, it's the roads themselves, whether or not they are collector roads, whether they're crossroads, or they're just dead ends, cul-de-sacs, those are not priority. There's something with dead ends, the roads that have cul-de-sacs, with the town force next year, we were able to start going and do some of those cul-de-sacs ourselves. Because we will have run out of money on the infrastructure bond at that point.
Okay, yeah, because like I said, a couple of them, it was a dead-end road, there were no surface defects there was no surface.
There were. The ones that we paved, there were defects in it before we got to a point of
Okay, now
having
do you
totally
list-
reclaim them. We went through this mill and paved them.
Okay, now do you list whether or not they're in excellent, good, fair, poor condition, and what kind of surface defects? So that way do you list that on how you determine all the roads in the town?
We have not done the entire town. As far as doing a list, we did visual, and then we went by each district, and we looked at the roads that were through roads, or roads that needed to be, that we would save by doing the milling and paving.
Okay, because I noticed on this one, it was a, District 1 and District 5, this seemed to be a lot of the roadways, so I was wondering about the other districts.
Well, again, in phase 2, you're going to find out that some of those roads didn't take you to start off with, but logistically, we tried to get those roads that were closer by so they could move equipment easily to it. I believe there's one or two more roads left in District 1, but the rest are going to be in 3, 4, and 5, 2.
Okay,
So
all right,
that's the phase 2 section.
okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, well, thank you for explaining it and coming out tonight. Appreciate it. I know we have a lot of crack fills in Old Haven.
And
As I walk the dog once in a while, I try not to get busy, but hey, you do what you can with the money we have.
that's all. Thank you.
Okay. What do we got next? All right, next we have D, I believe. Licenses, discussion, and action. Firstly, we'll go D1, Mrs. George.
This is an application by West Rhode Island Civic Historical Society for a one-day live show license at Payne House on September 23rd.
Okay, is anyone here? Okay, would you like to just say a word or two about it? And has this been held before?
Yes,
I thought so.
it's an annual thing.
I thought so. If you just come forward and just tell us a little bit about it, and then we'll vote. And your name and
My name
address?
is Faye Edwards, and I'm the current president.
Okay, well, welcome. Good evening.
Thank you. Payne House, every year in September, we have Heritage Day, and that's what this application is for.
Okay.
It'll run from 10 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon.
Okay.
We have about currently a dozen crafters coming, the Brigade Band, a Spinners Guild, you know, they spin from the wool thing. We have Touch a Truck, the fire department is going to bring over an engine and a rescue for us to let the kids touch it. We are getting one military vehicle. We've got candle making, tours of the house, butter making, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah, it's rain or shine, I'm sure, right?
It's
10,
rain or
okay.
shine.
All right. All right, any questions of the council?
This goes to fund what cause or just to fund the
Western
actual?
Rhode Island Civic Historical Society, it's a nonprofit.
It's a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you do it once a year.
Yes.
Yeah, and that helps out with the paint house and the museum. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to, you know, waive the fee.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we grant with a waiver of the fee.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to raise money, you know, and it's a good,
Thank you.
good organization, so.
Very much appreciated.
Second.
Okay, motion made to approve and waive the fee, and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. And next, Mr. George, D2.
This is an application for a 60-day renewal of a hawker's license for roadside shack at 6 Reservoir Road.
Okay, is it Mr. Massey, is he here tonight regarding this? Request for a renewal. Can I ask, it's had a hawker's license now at least a couple of times, correct?
We had the 90-day
Yeah.
license for Corner Reservoir,
Yeah,
and we checked with the police department to see if there had been any issues, and we have not.
for the 90 days. All right, but and they were the ones that moved from Mid-State Gun across the street, yeah, because of electricity charges. Okay, and my question is, I know they've asked for another 60 days. I guess they'll run the same facility. You know, my question is, you know, why do we need that in Coventry with the school buses rolling, the traffic, parents? I know it's a dirt lot otherwise, but, you know, versus getting a building of all our empty buildings that are all over Coventry, and, you know, paying the right amount of taxes. I think, what is this? This is $25 for another 60 days? It seems like, to me, they're kind of avoiding taxes in Coventry, if I'm not mistaken. Are we collecting a lot of taxes from them when
I
they,
think we collected.
Not from them, but from the landowner.
well, the landowner, we collect it either way.
Right, so.
Right, so I'm asking, why would we want to, I mean, it's not my district, I just know that it's heavy traffic with school buses and school events and in and out, and never mind Westwood and Maywood. I mean, is there something that the majority of the council wants to give them another 60 days up to, what is it, Thanksgiving time?
Well, I think that it hasn't been an issue, there's plenty of off-road parking, and I just don't want to be, you know, why make it, I know it's not taxes, you know, we're receiving it, we're getting from the landowner.
Right.
Let's make it easy for businesses, we don't want to, I mean, they've been doing well, it's a convenience to the people, I'm not objecting to it at all, you know, I think I'm for it.
I have no objection to it.
Okay, I hear you, and
Well,
it's
you know,
nice he's making money, but, you know, to have a little, I won't say it won't be a shack, but I guess it's called a shack, sitting there on that major corner, you know, with all our empty facilities around the town, to sell whatever they sell, for another 60 days for the big picture of 25 bucks. I mean, I'm not high on it, but if the majority of the council wants to give them another 60 days. I don't know what's going to happen after November 24th. Is it going to be Christmas wreaths and food with that on the side and hamburgers and clam cakes? Is it going to go all year? 60 days at a time for a hawker's license? I know we don't have many hawker's license, but again, I guess they serve a point within reason. But I'm not in favor of it, to be honest with you. I think that we could avoid it and not, especially the candidates not even here to answer these questions. A lot of traffic, if they pull in and pull out and don't get hit by school buses and family and people traveling, I'm okay with it. I know the police haven't brought any problems to our attention, so you have a comment, Mrs. Carlson?
Well, I think if you, a few years ago, we did have a really great concern about fireworks being on that corner, and that was the year that probably school was until the end of June. And basically I didn't like the idea of anybody being on that corner, but I have to say it's been a nice business. It's been, I don't think it's been a traffic problem. There's been a really nice vegetable person there, you know, like a fresh market person too. And I think they probably don't want to be in a building because that would be a lot of money with rent. And as Mr. McGee says, let's encourage this. I mean, as long as they haven't been a problem and our PD doesn't have a problem with them, and you know, let's hope there wouldn't be any accidents. I'd like to encourage them. They've come here the last couple times that they've been up for a renewal, and they seem to be very nice people. And you know, I would think by being dark at night, I don't know what their hours are going to be. That could be a question we can ask, but I don't know if they have lights strung up over there, do they, at night? So they might be just doing weekends, you know.
We're
Well,
there until like 8 o'clock.
I would think it's probably daytime.
Yeah.
I would think it's daytime because it's getting dark now,
Right.
and it's not September 26th yet. Just on the fireworks, that was about a 5-6 day.
I'd rather have a clam shack than 10 turbines. Anybody else?
Right. Getting back to the location, the fireworks was there 5 or 6 days. It was definitely temporary. And I could see, outside of the police saying no problems, I could approve that. 5 days, 6 days, 7 days come and go. Now we got 90 days and we got another 60 days. That's 150 out of the year. I'm okay with it, obviously, if I get outvoted, but I'm not against business. I'm not against business. It's just, I mean, how many, all these hawkers want to come up and put shacks everywhere around Coventry. I guess they do a nice business. The other question you brought up, or point, is how did we approve a vegetable stand being on that location, Mr. Waters? Was that ever approved, Mrs. George, a vegetable stand? Because I saw that appear. And I went by it, and almost daily I went by that. Excuse me. It might have been, but we certainly didn't approve it, and I wanted to know how they appeared there. They had like a lot of vegetables going, but I don't think that was the roadside shack, unless there's two shacks or 3 shacks now. We could have a shack town. I don't know. I think they did it without approval. But that's okay. I'm not one to ruffle feathers. If nobody gets, gypped by eggplant or anything else, I'm sure they might have known the people, if not being the same people. But it certainly wasn't approved.
Right.
Not in my minutes.
Yeah, right.
All right, let's have a vote then on approval of the 60-day renewal of the hawker's license. All in favor?
Make a
So
A
moved.
motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay. A second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next. We're moving right to E now. E. Mrs. George, E1.
Resolution affirming the award of a contract for 2 Ford Interceptor SUVs for the police department.
Okay, Mr. Waters, or is the colonel here to speak on this? Okay.
Colonel and not enough, our finance director would like to assist him.
Okay.
Mr. Tebow.
Yes, sir.
If he doesn't need assistance, then I guess it would be necessary.
I'll be in the bullpen.
Yes, Chief.
So you see in the council's packets, request for 2 SUVs. We did ask for 4 originally in the budget. The town manager gave us 2. In the breakdown, we used a bid from Cumberland to get actually a better price on the patrol data portion of it. And the vehicles are actually bought from Colonial. We've bought through them before, and they're on the Greater Boston Police Council. Okay.
Mr. Tebow, I assume it's accounted for in the budget, so we got monies to do it, correct?
Yes, sir, the initial $75,000 is approved at the financial town meeting, and then the subsequent outfitting of the vehicles brings the total to $85,276.60, and all the funding sources are noted on the resolution.
Okay. And I know it was brought to my attention, or at least a possible concern is the, how are these for emissions that we've been hearing some Ford problems on some vehicles throughout the state with officers getting dizzy? I mean, are these not in that category?
So we have taken remediation steps with the vehicles we have. We have our
Right.
monoxide detectors, and we're working on the recall with that. They should be fine. We'll check into that.
Okay, so you have a system to monitor,
We do.
was it monthly?
We have it in the vehicle.
Oh, it's in the vehicle
It's in the
now?
vehicle. It's a plug-in charger.
Got it.
It's always on.
Okay, so if there was any danger, they should be readily alerted to that effect?
We
Okay,
should.
all right. Any, that's good news. And again, you know, getting the new vehicles is good, and being able to pay for them is even better. Any other questions of the council?
Just, Chief, you do this by going through a national bid, is that how that works?
The Greater Boston Police Council is like a New England bid.
It's
But we-
already been, RFP's been sent out?
It has.
Same thing as we kind of do on the DPW, okay.
It is.
Thank you. And it's usually the cheapest price?
It almost always is. There's not too many vendors, but this vendor actually, when they did the bid in Cumberland, came in below what the current prices are for patrol data, so they brought that to our attention actually, and we paid that from the Cumberland bid.
Thank you.
Okay. go ahead.
Chief, are these new vehicles or replacing something that's leaving?
They are new.
So
Every
not
year.
replacing anything, right?
No, not replacing.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, checking.
Okay, then, if there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
In a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Good luck with them. Okay, next we have E2. Mr. Waters?
This item was placed back on the agenda. It was tabled from the last council meeting. I believe at the request of Councilman Bacon, so she could review the agreement.
Okay.
It was discussed at the last council meeting.
Right. And I think we all have the information in front of us, or we had been given it all. Any additional questions or comments regarding the resolution?
I would, again, when it comes to finances, I would like to see a dollar amount, because we do know, right, what the abatement is going to be.
I think we were given a dollar amount.
Yeah, I think it's in the
Yeah,
agreement.
but that was in the last packet.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying in the resolution itself.
Oh, I see, you mean to
Yeah,
put it in?
because 10 years from now,
Well,
nobody's going to remember.
the resolution has in it that that the agreement will be attached to the resolution.
Okay,
So once it's passed, the final signed agreement
Okay.
will have it for the records, town records.
thank you.
Okay, very good. There's no other questions then, take a motion to approve the resolution.
Motion to approve.
And second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, very good. Next, we have number 3, E3.
Resolution affirming the award of a contract for fit-outs of 2 F-550 cabin chassis.
Okay, Ms. McGee? I guess you'd probably be commenting on this one? the information that we got in our packages is like more than a third of my folder. I guess some are interested in this. Not all, but go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the resolution for the fit-out of the two cabin chassis that were authorized by the town council at the last meeting. This went out, was advertised locally, it was advertised on the state website, on our town website. We physically sent the RFP bid packages out to 3 firms that are in the area that we've dealt with in the past. We received 1 bid back from Dejana, which is a company that we have been dealing with for the last 5 years, been the most competitive. This is for putting the bodies on, putting the lighting package on, make sure all the hydraulics are in place. There's 1 body that we're buying and 1 body that we're actually swapping over that we bought last year that on the truck that broke in the frame, so we're going to just swap over the body. So the cost on this entire resolution is for $26,335 to do both trucks.
Okay.
And that's similar to what the chief had just done with having to do the fit-outs to the SUVs. This is the fit-outs to the cabin chassis.
Okay. Questions of the council?
I'd just like to, kind of like piggyback on what you mentioned, Mr. President. We have 60 pages included in this document. Is this going to be the new norm when we're, for an item such as this, that, between 2 agenda items, we got nearly 100 pages. Between them, it's 2 reams of paper for something that is so small. Is that going to be a normal thing going forward, or can, that's an awful lot of paperwork.
As far as my department, we've been asked, on and on again about getting copies of the RFPs.
Yep.
So that's why we provide the copies of the RFPs.
I figured that might be the case.
And
All right.
if you wish to change that, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, okay.
Same thing, 50 pages. We just approved 2 police vehicles. There was 2 pages on it. I know it's not your fault. I know there's council members here that requested it. I think it's disgusting. I have faith in the people that are doing this. We've done this 100 times, getting trucks. Times 9, 50 pages. We need 2 pages to let us know what we're paying, what it would cost. We know our people. I have blank pages in here that are meaningless to me. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I agree.
All right.
It's expensive.
All right. So the request is for $26,335. And
Motion to approve the contract.
well, let's motion and see if we get a second. Then we can have any
We still
other.
have discussion.
All right, there's a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Second. Okay, discussion.
I just want to know what's left in your impact fees, do you know?
I do not know what this left. I know we had
Here comes Mr.
110,000.
Tebow.
Okay,
We have
all right,
110,000.
to the rescue. On deck.
After the purchase.
As of right now, July 31st, the road improvement impact fee balance, $223,855.53. So this purchase will bring that balance to just under $200,000.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other questions or discussion? If not, we'll call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Good luck.
Thank you.
And next, E4. This is George.
It's a resolution affirming the award of facility building for the school physical plant department.
Mr. Martin, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
How are you?
Hi, everyone.
Good, sorry, thanks for hanging on. Would you like to just fill us in a little bit on this, Mr. McGee and Mr. Martin, whoever?
Well, I'll just start that, town manager asked for the Public Works Director to be part of this building committee for the police and human services. Part of that also, he tasked me and Jason with the relocation of the buses and the physical plant. The bus relocation is at completion. The physical plant has the building at Oak Haven interior work for the offices and workshops. However, there's no place for them to be able to have a lift for their work on the bodies. So at this point,
We currently have a 2-bay garage that we work out of with 1 lift. Generally store maybe 3 vehicles in there at one time. Kevin and I have been working on trying to find a solution that would fit what my needs are and fit in the area that we have to work with. And ClearSpace has come up with best opportunity that we could find as of right now.
I mean, I got a question, if I...
Sure,
President.
sure.
Is this like a modular type, is it like an ultra shed or something to that effect, or is it a solid building? I couldn't get a clear reading on what it was.
You know, it has a steel frame,
Yep.
and then it's got a fabric cover for it. And it's anchored with helical piles that are going 4 feet into the ground, and each one of those stanchions are secured to the ground through those helical piles.
What's the life expectancy of something?
20 years.
20 years? Is that right?
Warranty,
Now,
20 years.
What comes, oh, warranty, it is warranty.
Yes.
And they feel confident enough that if we get a Hurricane Irma coming up on this area, that, you know, it'll withstand, I think they said something like 110 miles?
110 miles.
Right. I'm sure some of the stick buildings can't put up to something that happens with Irma, but yes, they're wind loaded for the northeast.
20 years is good, I didn't know what the life expectancy was. No.
That would be just a new fabric.
You're gonna put a lift in it, so you're gonna put a floor in it?
Yeah.
There'll be a concrete floor with the lift going, yes.
We're relocating our lift from
No,
the
okay.
Now, exactly where is this going to be?
On the basketball court at O'Caven's, on the left-hand side of the building.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna ask, is it going to be added on to the gym? I mean, in other words, it was gonna be in the gym,
No,
so it's gonna be added on, or attached to,
it's next to the building.
next to
It's
it.
not attached.
It's not gonna even be attached.
No.
Well, how much walking space will be between the facility and the gym?
20 feet.
20? Wow, okay. And so there is quite a bit of area that one side of it. And then, and now as far as driving to it, they'll come on the Princeton side?
Yes.
It won't be going on the Cody Trail side of the school building?
No.
It'll be on the Princeton side?
Or coming to the front of the building.
Right.
Right,
And it'll be drive-through doors, so you can actually come in and drive out the backside, so.
okay.
I just got a question, actually, being there, but what about the aesthetics of this? Is it going to, I mean, I would love to see the picture of it, but I mean, is it going to look like a Quonset hut on the, you know, on the side of some of these homes
That's
that
what I was
are,
picturing.
that are, you know, exact, you know, that are there? You know, I mean, aesthetically, I'm sure the homeowners won't be happy with something that's,
Well,
We have colors that we can deal with, but it's gonna be basically, once I had that for you, if I've got one close to it.
Watch your foot.
Similar to like the salt domes that you see.
right, I was gonna say, it's not gonna be beautiful, but it's gonna be substantial and useful, and are there windows on the side, or no?
No windows.
No windows.
There'll be a walk-through door, it'll be heat,
Yeah.
ventilation. Yeah, something like this, but it's gonna be more of a dome top. It's 35 feet wide by 60 feet long.
more of that, and you know, enclosed, et cetera, yeah, you know. Right.
And it is gonna be about, how many feet back from Princeton? Did you say 50
From
feet
Princeton?
from Princeton Road, the fence?
That'll be close to 200 feet.
200 feet, yeah, it's back quite a bit. There are going to be one neighbor to the one side, and a couple will be across the street looking at it. And obviously, you know, it's not going to be gorgeous, but, you know, this clear space, have they done other work around the state? Have you seen any?
Yes, they have.
Okay.
And they're also, they were just at different organizations. There are a New England company.
Okay, I know Windsor, Connecticut, right? Yeah, South Windsor.
Did
I
you say
saw
that was going to be the color? It's going to be a white?
No. So they have colors available, so
You could make it.
I will, you know, I'm sure that.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm just
It'll
thinking,
be-
depending on how the light hits a white type of.
They can be green, tan, whatever the color.
I was going to say beige, tan,
Yeah,
Chooses.
sand color, whatever.
camouflage it.
My luck, I'll only see that every day, maybe hourly. That's all right. What are you gonna do? I mean, we have to get this police building built, we have to get the human services building, couldn't find any other spot. Everybody swore to it up and down,
Nothing that was acceptable to
so,
everybody.
okay, even wins. All right, any other questions? Okay.
I understand the economics of this, but 20 years doesn't sound like a lot, like a long time compared to a real building. I mean, obviously, this is less
It's
expensive.
all about cost. Council.
Right, I understand that, but I thought we had
There was some-
allocated 150.
That's
140,000.
cost over there. across the street.
So we're trying to minimize as much, minimize using that amount as much as
Okay.
In
possible.
case we need it.
We
in case
appreciate it.
need So we're trying to do everything as practical and as affordable as possible.
Okay. And snow and everything, the load,
It's all meets New England's snow and
are you happy with it?
I need a garage.
I know, but do you think this is your best option?
It's our only option.
And nobody's happy with it. Okay.
Jason didn't answer that question.
Well, I agree with it, it's other options, but not acceptable, so.
Okay.
I just have
Yes.
a question. On their website, it does say that the anchoring system that you're using is 100% temporary. So,
The whole structure is considered a temporary.
Temporary.
oh, I know, but I'm talking the anchoring system. So, you know, I know it's going 4 feet in the ground. Is that deep enough?
That's according to their engineering studies, yes.
Okay, and the last item on the sheet on the quote, it says sale of freight building, $4,204. What's sale of freight building?
Freight, that's freight. They have a sale, that's freight for the building. You get it shipped here.
Okay, so that's the shipping
Yeah,
cost.
shipping cost.
Okay.
Okay, motion to approve. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, good luck to it. You all, house the wall.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, E5, Mrs. George.
Resolution awarding construction repair of upper dam, upper pond dam.
Okay. Mr. Joyal is approaching.
And we have Wills Weiberg from Fuss and O'Neill, the consultant that we have on this project.
Okay, good evening, sir. Well, didn't get the name again?
Wills Weiberg.
Okay, all right. Very good. Who wants to start as far as what we're going to be doing? I mean, we have the package in front of us, and it's fairly lengthy as far as the number of sheets go too. I know that it needs to be done. It's been around for a while. I think this was this not tabled from another meeting?
It was discussed at the last meeting.
Yeah.
I believe
Okay.
council had more questions.
Yep.
Our finance director is here also
Okay.
to answer.
I believe, if I may,
Yes.
Mr. President, I believe it was our solicitor who questioned
Yeah.
the need to have this job done. That was the question of why it was tabled.
No, the question was about the.
Not the need, but it was whether we had to do it by a court order that we were told to have to do it. That was what was in question.
Right, whether it was actually mandatory, I guess. That did come up.
If I recall correctly, because I believe it was the wording of consent agreement versus
Consent agreement.
consent judgment.
Yeah, right, that's the question. So have we determined that answer, Counselor, regarding that matter, before we entertain this matter?
Yes, the statute allows for a settlement to be the basis for using, as the basis for
Okay,
bonding the project. It can be a judgment or a settlement. And for reference, that's General Laws, Title 45, Chapter 12, Section 4.4.
are you sure?
And in particular, there was a public law passed in 2012, I think it was Chapter 119 of the 2012 public laws, that actually allows Coventry, and later Middletown added its name to this special provision. It allows Coventry to bond up to 10% of the total amount of its most recently adopted municipal budget through that statute. So it's a significant amount that we can borrow just based on a judgment or settlement. In this case, it was a settlement. There was no judgment, although it was approved by the Administrative Adjudication Court of the DEM. It was nonetheless a settlement. The town agreed to this settlement. I don't know if it was negotiated or whatever. I know that the town wasn't represented by council when this was negotiated, and it was before my time.
Okay.
So I guess my question would be, it's still a needed project that has to be done. It was negotiated because of a need. Am I correct in saying that?
I did not negotiate
Yeah,
the
I know.
project, and I don't know what the need was. All I know is I was presented with a settlement where the town agreed to do all this work. That's all that I know, and I was asked
That was
to
called a
give.
consent judgment, correct? And it was called a consent
No, it was called
judgment.
a-
Well, we were listing it as a consent judgment.
It's a consent agreement. It is an agreement between the town and the DEM.
Okay.
That's
All right,
it. That's all it is.
Mr. President, if I could.
Got it, yeah, I was gonna just say, is it needed, Mr.
It's
McGee?
based upon a April 16, 2013 notice of violation to the town.
Okay, 2013?
Yes,
Yes.
Violation to the town.
correct.
All right, so I guess
We have to get it done.
you translated that into needed.
It
All
is
right.
concerted through the EM, yes.
I got it. Any other questions?
Well, Glenn, I mean, if you mind.
No, I don't mind.
Because
I
I
don't
really
mind.
tried to figure this out, and I'm the reason why you have so much in your packets because of this.
Okay, well, ask away.
I tried to figure this out because it said a judgment bond approved in 2014. That's what it states in our resolution. This award will be funded through the judgment bond approved in 2014. So just bear with me for a second because I tried to figure this out. April 16, 2013, DEM issued a notice of violation to the town regarding the upper dam. On December 10, 2016, Tom Hoover, the former town manager, signed the consent agreement. On the 16th of December 2013, David Choppy from DEM signed the agreement. In the agreement, it contained conditions and work requirements to be completed in January of 2014, March 2014, and April of 2014. Within that agreement also, there are penalties, $500 a day if we do not comply with this consent agreement. Now, I'm jumping forward. Nothing took place in 2014. On June 11th, 2015, I have letters from Fuss and O'Neill that they were authorized by the town to initiate work in response, and they have in here the 10/29/2014 consent agreement. I believe they meant the 2013 consent agreement. Now, that right there, does someone have something?
It was 2014 consent agreement.
I have it, it's signed by David Choppy and Tom Hoover, dated December 10th, 2013.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So that was June 11th, 2015. Now we go and we jump ahead to October 8th, 2015. This is an email from DEM to Fuss and O'Neill and to the town granting the new dates and regarding work that was supposed to be done in 2014. They are also indicating that they will not assess any financial penalties at this time as long as we get the work done. Now that is again in 2015. We jump ahead to February 22nd, 2016. Town Council voted 3-2 on a resolution authorizing repair of the upper dam in the amount of a $560,000 bond. However, the bond in 2016, even though the council authorized it for $560,000, was actually bonded out for $550,000. Again, that's December 22nd, 2016. On December 2nd, 2016, Rhode Island DEM sent a letter approving all applications for repair work. The repair for the upper dam could have begun on December 3rd, 2016. It was not done. In June 2017, there is an RFP for repair work. I don't have a date for that RFP. However, on June 29th, 2017, an email from Fuss and O'Neill to Rhode Island DEM, upper dam construction, will be starting in a month or so. On August 8th, 2017, the bids were opened. On August 21st, 2017, at the council meeting, Mr. McGee stated the town has a court order to do the repairs. They're a consent judgment. Funding is from the 2014 judgment bond. So I had asked about the bonds because I couldn't find the 2014 bond. And what I found, it was actually a